Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 88 of the International Pentagon Challenge. And as you can see, we now have France in the UEFA Nations League semi-final. Now there's not that much pressure on us because it's not the Euros of course, but you know, if we can get a bit of silverware nice and early during our reign as the Spanish manager to give us a bit of confidence going into the next World Cup, going into the next Euros, that would be pretty cool. 2 other interesting facts include that Fulham in the Premier League have offered me the managerial job, which I of course declined, and so did Tottenham Hotspur. That to one side. In terms of the games that we have played, you guys left me off when we beat England 2-1 just about and qualified out of our group, and we played some World Cup qualifier games. We had a comfortable 4-0 victory against Kosovo and a nice home win against Norway. Akete, apparently I looked up, apparently there's a real life footballer called Akete and you pronounce it Akete, so I will now be calling him Akete. Yeah, but it's okay. Big game against France coming up for obvious reasons. Another thing I want to also mention is, can we have, you know, a moment of silence for these guys right here? If we go to England and take a quick look at the Premier League, West Ham almost won the Premier League on the final day of the season, but they drew. So Man City beat them to it instead. Unlucky West Ham, I'm not quite sure what they're doing so far up the table. Fulham are doing pretty well, that would have been a nice job to take. But hey, we're here and we're focused on trying to win the Euros. So, without further ado, apparently our under-20s are doing well at the under-20 World Cup, but you know what, we don't care about them, we care about the main team. Let's do this. Alright, here we are then. So, pay no attention to how we're set up on the left-hand side because I'm going to make quite a few changes on what's on the left-hand side. But just to kind of discuss what France are looking to do. So their manager likes a 4-2-3-1, as we can see. They play quite direct. Now Provost, I'm not sure if Diarra was one of them. No, Diarra is a lot better physically, but Provost himself is really getting on a little bit. So I do feel like that lack of pace centrally is something we can take advantage of, and we'll see how. Now Maliki and Gay are both natural sided wingers, so Maliki's left-footed, Gay is right-footed. That kind of instructs us as to what we should really be looking to do in terms of how offensive our fullbacks are going to be. Valley up front isn't the most physical either, 15 acceleration, 14 pace, so our centre-backs should be able to keep up with him, but still a quality player nonetheless. Bangura's roughly the playmaker. The right-back tends to play inverted, but it looks like they've gone with something a little bit different where he's going to be the more attacking of the 2 fullbacks. So it's going to be really important for us to ensure that we do have a man keeping an eye on him, keeping him under pressure and trying to take advantage of the fact that he isn't exactly the fastest in the business. Andre's on the left-hand side. He's either footed. He's probably, he's playing with a groin strain, so we'll have to make sure that reflects on the opposition instructions as well. He's probably going to be quite a defensive player. And really in terms of their back 2, very good defenders, but not exactly great when it comes to pace and acceleration. So that's really an area I feel like we can take advantage of and utilise through balls ourselves. They are quick starters, we will bear that in mind. I'm going to go now and make changes and I'll kind of discuss the thoughts behind it once I've made them. Okay, so this is really what we're looking to do. We have players out injured. I should have probably discussed who they were, but one of our key strikers is injured, but because I'm new to the job, I don't remember the name. Julian's going to be playing out on the left-hand side as an inside forward on attack, and he's going to be pinpointing and trying to stay tight to that right back who's going to be looking to go forwards. And Julian has pace to burn to get in behind any space that full-back leaves. I wanted Raul playing centrally. I want to try and overpack that central area with a diamond because, like I said, physically, Bangura won't track back much. And physically, I feel like those two central players, the holding midfielders for France, are kind of positions we can exploit. And Akete remains in the team as a false nine because he just performed so damn well as a false nine in the team. I'm not really happy with a lot of our conditioning. Like, we've not played a friendly just before this game, so I don't know why all these players have come from their clubs completely cream-crackered, but we'll deal with that when it becomes a problem. We can make substitutions later on. And they are quick starters, are this French team, so we've dropped our defensive line a little bit, but it's still pretty high, because like I said, they've not exactly got the paciest guy up front, and I suspect that the wingers are going to be tracking back a lot. And we're really just going to try, start off on a standard mentality, work our way into the game past the first 15 minutes, and then we might to press on. Now, this tactically is not something I've tried before. It's a bit of a complete gamble, but in case you haven't realised by now, I tend to trust my my gut instinct. Opposition instruction-wise, you know, the usual, going in hard on the guys that are a little bit injured. Man-marking-wise as well. Julian's going to be staying tight to the right defender. Akete, though, going to try and get him to track back a little bit by man-marking the opposition winger. And I've told Carles-Gil as well to stay tight to Provost, just because I know Carles-Gil's a very good athletic player, very good in the tackle as well. And I feel like he can, you know, try and put physical pressure onto Provost, which is a key player for them. That's why he's still in the side. He's a very, very good playmaker. If we can keep Hill tight to him, I don't think they'll be able to play through him. So a really exciting game for us here today. France versus Spain. And like we said, I'm not really too sure what to expect. I'm still really sceptical about the balance of players we have within this Spanish side. And I'm not exactly the biggest fan of a lot of the tactical approaches that we've kind of gone with so far. Hence why it seems to be changing every other episode. Oh, what a goal! 50 seconds in, and that is exactly what we wanted. Credit where it's due to Raul, who started off the move by picking the ball up in midfield as well. And, you know, we emphasised the fact that France are quick starters, but Julian's headed the ball home inside a minute. And that's certainly a much better start to the game than we had against England, not once, but the 2 times we played against them. Now, this is going to be a bit of a struggle because we're not playing really with an out-and-out striker. That's why I decided to make Akete a false 9 rather than the winger out on the right-hand side that I wanted to initially make him. But yeah, because it kind of feels like you need to have someone floating in that area as a kind of get-out clause for when Raul picks the ball up. But anyways, Gay is going to try and take the ball out wide, and the French win a corner. Provost whips the ball towards Gay on the edge of the box. I can't help but think of Marvin Gaye. Akete, who can he find? It is none other than King Julian out on the left, and referee. That's a yellow card. He was brought straight down there. Can we get this on the head of Miguel, though? Antony probably going to shoot from there, and it just fizzes past the post. But so far, so good. We've looked in control, and, you know, because we've looked in control, because we've had so much possession, I haven't really, so far, felt the need to make any tactical changes. Diarra finds Bangura. Plays the ball out wide to Gay. Great tackle from LaCueva, but we give him a corner. Am I the only one that thinks of, like, quavers every time I say LaCueva? It's like a French version of quavers. Le Quaver. I just can't help but think of that. Anyway, there's another corner. I think we might have to freshen things up after the half-an-hour mark. Let's see what we can do here. I feel like France are going to naturally start to throw more men forwards. So the counter-attack is always a possibility for us. Okay, let's see what we. Okay, let's see this highlight first. I feel like I'd like one of my fullbacks to get involved a little bit more, because it's not really comfortable until you've got a 2-goal lead, and that's really where my mind is at the moment. Raul Julian, he should have hit the back of the net from there. Once again, Julian going kind of unmarked Ram Duteresque style down that left-hand side, and unfortunately we weren't able to finish. But this could be a deadly counter-attack from the French. It's Marvin Gaye down the right-hand side, whips the ball in, but 2 meters of Miguel is ready and waiting to clear the ball. So let's make some changes. I feel like I want Alvarez to start going forwards a little bit more, and with Gil on defend down this side, it's not really the end of the world too yet. If he starts to bite off a little bit more than he can chew. In terms of our instructions, is there anything we want to change? I think if there is going to be anything we want to change, I'll tell him to not be as expressive. We don't need to take as many risks with the ball as things currently stand. Antony, don't know if you caught that, does... Hello. Okay, we've just given the... Akete looks hurt. He wants to come off. He's on... Oh, it's good. We don't have a striker on... Well, we have Cerezo. He's not exactly ideal. That's not what I wanted this early on. Antony's looking a bit tired. I'm actually going to just leave Akete on and see if he gets better, because it's still a little bit early. So we'll wait and see. Leicester to Julian. Finds Antony. He's probably going to come off at half-time as well. He's dropped down really quickly to 70 HP, or whatever you want to call it. And that's a bit of a poor attempt on goal there from Akete. Still maintaining the majority of the possession. Looking good. And while the French have had chances, as you'd expect them to, none of them have really troubled us significantly. Like, they haven't had a single shot on target yet. So far, so good. Dare I say it, England, both times we played them, looked a much better team than this French team do at the moment. Find it really interesting as well that a complete nobody is managing them. I can't remember if I showed you guys the manager, but obviously they hired him because, oh no, because they offered me the position, and I obviously took the Spain job instead, and they've hired like a regen manager with terrible attributes in charge. But yeah, it's not like a regen player that's retired either. It's just a random regen, which seems very, very unrealistic. But as we can see, Akete has survived until half-time. Can Miguel put the icing on the cake? Well, apparently not. Okay, so at half-time, again, we don't have to change too much. We are going strikerless because of the players that we have at our disposal. Lopez is going to come on for Antony, who is quite tired. And Akete on 62%, I think by now, has to kind of come off. And I've moved Alvarez up to the right wing from right back and brought on Cervera and dropped him down to support because he doesn't necessarily need to take as many risks. Leicester on 72% is something that troubles me, and the fact that they had a lot of their attacks going down that side is again something that I do bear in mind. So Leicester will now remain on defence. That's mainly as well to also try and conserve that 72% that he has. In terms of team instructions, we've not really changed much from when you last saw him, really. I just want to see if we can maintain possession, maintain creating chances, and we also want to keep an eye on whether or not the French end up changing it round. I saw maybe glimpses of 4-4-2 there. It's probably just the advanced playmaker moving on. Team instruction wise, we are looking to not exploit the middle and look to try and exploit the wide areas because we have Alvarez and Julian there, and given that the French are going to be pushing more and more players forward, I feel like those are areas we can look to try and find gaps of space behind the fullbacks within. And I know that within the second half, the slow guys like Provost and co are surely going to eventually have to come off. So that's the logic behind that. Alvarez to Raul, and apparently that was a good sliding tackle. I mean, he got the ball, but I guess you can argue he got a chunk of the player as well. Asoro, Cervera shoots up front from right back, but it goes over the bar. And, with regards to the 3-4-3, if you're wondering, it's not necessarily a system that we've scrapped. We played both our World Cup qualification games and conceded no goals and scored a heck of a load of goals. Playing the 3-4-3, it's just that against these stronger sides, I'm currently kind of re-evaluating my options because, as we saw against England, some of these stronger sides with wingers can really, really, really hurt us with the 3-4-3. But against weaker sides, we can afford to sacrifice kind of the fullbacks for an extra striker. They have made a substitution. They brought on a 23-year-old in Eric Gomez from Monaco. He's going to be nice and fresh now, so it's tough, with regards to what we want to look to do from here. We only have one more sub. I think it's a little bit early to go out and out and make changes, but Osoro doesn't necessarily have to venture as forward as much as he has been doing. So we'll put him as an anchorman on, well, he already is on an anchorman on defend, but give him man marking instructions onto Gomez and just see if he can try and just, you know, make the youngster feel a little bit uneasy, if that makes sense. So hopefully he gives us a little nice extra burst of pace as the left fullback down that left hand side and helps us transition from back to front. But again, we're in this annoying scenario where we've got the highlights on comprehensive. We're not seeing much because nothing really is happening. I thought it was a penalty or something there. I am contemplating removing get stuck in because the yellow cards are piling up. The last thing we can afford right now is a red card, especially with no subs. But again, at the same time, you really do want to get into him, if that makes sense. Can we counter-attack though now? Raul has the technical ability to play King Julian in. If he can pull this back, it will be 2-0. And, well, a bit of a dodgy clearance there, but in the end, it just about fell for the French defenders. Okay, Julian now, he can move back to be a winger on support here. I want Alvarez to be our main kind of port of call, moving out the back. Tell the lads to be a little bit more disciplined as well. We'll go a little bit narrower. And I think we can afford to start slowing the game down as well. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think just to play it safe, we will do that because Alvarez is going to be on attacking. And can we pick this ball up now from this sweeper keeper? Can Raul shoot? He finds Alvarez, who plays the ball across the goal to Julian, who was offside. That's a shame. So Ranieri is on the pitch. He's obviously a new player that's come on. Is he playing down the left-hand side? No, it's more central because he looks very, very big. And the way that the ball was hoofed there to him, and with that goalkeeper being a sweeper keeper, it feels like he's a bit of a Giroud in this side, if that makes sense. Lovely ball. Alvarez is offside. And that's really what Raul gives us there in the advanced playmaker position, playing strikerless, just helping us retain possession. It's not been the most exciting of episodes, I'll admit to that. Can Raul just thread it through to Yakubu? Has to get the cross right, and Roux was pushed by Julian. Ranieri with the free kick. If we can beat Masson to the ball here. Masson's offside. What? I mean, it wasn't a good performance in terms of it being a good performance. It was a good performance in terms of it being a performance where we got the job done and kept a clean sheet against, you know, one of the best teams in the world. Would I have liked to score more goals? Yes. But given the fact that we are missing a few key players... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Even the assistant can't save that. Even though we are missing a few key players like Molina. So yeah, Molina is one of the main players that we are really missing. And Manzanek up front, who I'm sure you remember is injured, unfortunately. So given that we were missing two significant kind of elements of firepower, I think I'll take that 1-0 win. And as a result, I believe we're going to play Italy in the final, if I saw correctly, which again is another interesting one because Italy offered me the job. Manuel Locatelli is currently managing them, who is a current AC Milan player. There we go. Here's the French manager that I was talking about, Guillaume Pinto. He's never managed anyone before. He just somehow walked into the French managerial job. Good luck to him. But that is going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And what was that about Saudi Arabia losing 5-0 today? I mean, you're probably watching this thinking, wow, that was quite some time ago. But obviously I record these in advance. I mean, credit where it's due to the Russians, but it was a bit of a dodgy start to the World Cup, wasn't it? Saudi Arabia were just clueless. That's probably down to the fact they've changed so many managers recently. It's unbelievable. So many managers changed in a short period of time. I also thought it was kind of funny how, you know, Spain have brought in Hierro as an emergency manager after sacking the new Real Madrid manager, who was a Spanish manager.
and it happened days after I accepted the Spanish job on Football Manager. They should have just really given me a phone call. I'd do a better job than Fernando Hierro. I mean, what does he know? He played for Bolton. Yeah, but anyways, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.